Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived a poor farmer. Now this farmer worked very, very hard from dawn till dusk in his fields. But no matter how much he worked, his life barely changed at all. He remained poor. One morning, this poor farmer walked to his goose's nest and gasped in surprise. Inside the nest was something incredible, a shiny, glowing golden egg. The farmer rubbed his eyes again and again, but it didn't change anything. It was still there. A real live golden egg. Overjoyed, the farmer immediately ran to the market and shouted to everyone he met, "Wow, I'm rich. My goose is magic. Look at this golden egg. I'm rich." The people at the market stared at the egg in amazement, but no one believed the farmer. They just laughed and said, "Don't be silly. This isn't a magic goose. You must have found this somewhere." But the farmer knew that his goose laid this golden egg. He was so happy because finally his life would change. And sure enough, the next morning when the sun rose, the goose laid another golden egg. And the day after that, another golden egg, and then another and another. Soon, the farmer's house filled with gold, and he became wealthier than all his neighbors. Everyone in the village wanted to buy these golden eggs from him, but the farmer didn't sell them. He kept them all for himself, proudly walking around with a bag full of gold. But one day, the farmer started thinking to himself, "My goose lays one golden egg every day, so she must have mountains of gold inside her belly. If I take it all now, I'll be the richest man in the world." The farmer never thought about the fact that maybe God gave him this golden goose so that he could become wealthy slowly, steadily, and without any problems. But his greed clouded his mind. He wanted to get everything right here, right now. So blinded by greed, the farmer took a knife and cut the goose open. He cut and cut, but it wasn't easy. After all, the goose was a wild animal, and as soon as he hurt her, she started flapping her wings and pecking him. The farmer got scared, dropped the knife, and when he looked at the goose, he saw tears in her eyes. The farmer felt bad, and instead of killing her, he put her back together and closed the wound with a bandage. Then the farmer calmed down a bit, sat on a chair and thought, "I shouldn't kill her. She might lay even more golden eggs in the future." But as soon as the sun set, the farmer's greed returned. Again, he took a knife and went towards the goose. He decided not to be scared this time, to kill the goose as fast as possible and find out if she really had a mountain of gold inside her belly. But when he approached the goose, he heard her say, "Why are you doing this? What did I do to you?" The farmer was stunned. Could geese actually talk? Before he could answer, the goose continued, "Listen carefully. I'll help you become unimaginably rich, but you need to do exactly what I tell you. Do you agree?" The farmer nodded his head quickly. "Good," said the goose. "Take me to the market tomorrow and sell me for the highest price you can get." The farmer was confused. "But why should I sell you? You bring me so much money with your golden eggs. Why would I do that?" The goose smiled. "Do as I ask, and you'll see how much money you can make by selling me. Trust me." The farmer was still unsure, but decided to trust the goose. He carried her to the market the next day, but no matter how much he tried, no one wanted to buy the goose. Most people said, "What do we need a goose like you for? You aren't even that beautiful. And besides, we don't need your golden eggs. We have enough money." The farmer felt terrible. He was so ashamed that his goose was being insulted that he started crying. When the farmer's tears hit the goose, she opened her mouth wide and said loudly, "Everyone, look at me. I'm a magic goose. Anyone who buys me will become super rich. And as a bonus, I'll also give them this bag of golden eggs." The people heard this and started asking each other, "Is it true? Is it true that this goose is magic?" The goose nodded her head proudly and said, "Of course it's true. But you need to hurry up. I'm getting old, and my magic power is fading away." The people looked at each other. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And although they were scared of the farmer's goose, they wanted to be rich. So they started arguing with each other over who would buy the goose first. Finally, one brave man stepped forward and bought the goose from the farmer for 5 bags of golden eggs. The farmer couldn't believe his ears. He got 5 bags of golden eggs for his goose. He had never earned so much money in his entire life. After the farmer left, the new owner of the goose took her home and hid her in the barn. Then he called all the villagers and told them that he would give them golden eggs every day. The people came running and waited for their reward. But as soon as the sun set, the man entered the barn and killed the goose. He cut and cut, but he didn't find any gold. There was nothing inside the goose. Disappointed, the man threw the dead goose to the ground and started crying. His greed had destroyed his gift. The same thing happened to the next person who tried to kill the goose and get the gold. In the end, the news reached the first farmer. He was sad to hear that his goose was killed, but he also realized that if he hadn't been greedy, he would have kept his gift. From that day on, there were no more golden eggs, and the farmer was left with nothing. The people in the village understood what had happened. They regretted killing the goose and wished they could go back in time. But sadly, that was impossible. The end. Now, friends, I am going to give you some time to think about the story and find the answer to the question. Ivy asked, I bet you know the answer. But if you don't, here's a hint. Listen carefully. It was in the very beginning of the story. Well, let's see what you've learned from the story. What is the main lesson of the story? That's right. Greed will only make you lose everything. Be patient, be grateful, and happiness will last. Well done. Now you can give yourself a nice little treat because you're smart, kind, and most importantly, you always watch my videos to the end. Thank you for being with me until the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.